Hey guys, and welcome to the Fish Room. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and today we're going to do a species spotlight. When I was doing my video on using botanicals in shrimp aquariums, which if you haven't seen, I really encourage you to watch it. I'll put a link right here. I realized I had never done a species spotlight on what is my favorite shrimp in the fish room, which is hard to believe because I've been working with them for over 10 years. Now, of course, I'm talking about my wild bee shrimp, or Caridina logemanni. Let's take a look in the aquarium and I'll tell you a little bit more about their care. Now, if you're new here, welcome. This is a 75-gallon aquarium that houses my wild bee shrimp, or Caridina logemanni, as well as some Neocaridina and some Amano shrimp. Now, while it may seem excessive to maintain a 75-gallon shrimp aquarium, it's of really huge importance to me to maintain the integrity of this line of shrimp, as they're very difficult to source in the hobby, especially as sort of the interest in hybridization has grown. Finding pure versions of these shrimp can be really challenging. And I find that the larger the aquarium, the more stable the parameters. So I've dedicated this entire 75-gallon to make sure that these shrimp are maintained in numbers and in health to share with other hobbyists and breeders around the country. Now, Caridina logemanni for the longest time were referred to as cantonensis, but they were redescribed in 2014. And they're named after Corsten and Frank Logemann for their work on various bee shrimps, especially in the Hong Kong area where these guys are found. Now, they come from hill stream environments, which means there is very cool water that is extremely dilute. However, there's a lot of leaf litter and botanicals, and I showed you guys those underwater habitats in my botanical for shrimp video. It's really pretty fascinating to see these guys in their native range. So again, I encourage you guys to watch that and take advantage of the discount code that Tannin has provided for you should you want to add some botanicals to your aquarium. Now, you can tell the difference between between these logemannis and cantonensis, because they have pretty pronounced patches of brown to black, whereas cantonensis has more like a speckled pattern. As you can see, there is some variability to their striping and patterning, as well as the opacity of the white. Now, I've never tried to line breed these guys to enhance any of these traits because I think they're absolutely amazing in their natural wild form, and that's something that I've really wanted to preserve. They are your typical dwarf shrimp size at about 1.25 inches. And I do find that they get slightly larger than a lot of the domestic strains found within the aquarium hobby, especially when provided with a lot of dilution like in this aquarium. They breed in the typical fashion as well, with the females carrying eggs under her swimmerettes for about 3 weeks before they hatch into miniature versions of the adults. Because the babies are so small, it's of critical importance to protect them from your filter, which is why I utilize sponge filtration in my shrimp aquariums. Now, as you can see in this aquarium, I utilize a lot of botanicals, some driftwood, and some plants, even though underwater plants aren't really found in their natural habitat. That being said, I find providing all of these grazing surfaces to be really helpful when maintaining shrimp, as it can be difficult to not overfeed. And since I want to preserve these and I want them to breed and I want to get the maximum yield, it's of critical importance to me to provide adequate grazing surfaces as well as a mature tank. Shrimp in general are intolerant of changes of parameters, especially of nitrite and ammonia. So it's really important that when you get shrimp, you add them to a well-cycled and mature aquarium. This particular aquarium has been running for about 12 years. Now, I know that that is excessive, and certainly you don't need to go that far, but having an aquarium that's mature of at least 3 to 6 months is really recommended for shrimp. I utilize a softening substrate in this aquarium. In this case, it is Tropica soil, and that's because it makes a more neutral environment for these guys. In their native range, the pH is around 6, which is really low, and the temperatures are quite cool at 19.8 degrees Celsius or 68 degrees Fahrenheit. This aquarium runs at about 70 degrees, which is really on the upper range of what they thrive in. Those hill stream environments are very cool, very dilute, and very soft water. Now that's not to say they won't survive in slightly hard water, but I've found over the years that if you keep them in conditions that aren't close to their ideal range, the yield of offspring is quite low. And since, again, these guys are kind of difficult to come by and really unique, I try and mimic those conditions as closely as possible. You can see the vast range of colors and patterns found in this shrimp, which are really, really striking. Now there are some papers of the classifications of shrimp, however they are not available to the public. That being said, I'll provide a link to them in the comments or in the description box below. As always, I want to hear from you guys. What's your favorite shrimp? Are you working with any of these cool wild types? Let me know in the comments section down below. Please make sure you're subscribed and have that notification bell on so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. I have a ton of things planned for you guys and I'm really excited for this year. And again, if you want to take advantage of the discount code from Tannin Aquatics, the code is Rachel10 in all caps and will be good for another few weeks. In this aquarium, you can see shrimp of all ages and sizes, including buried females, subadults, and juveniles. And since I just added food, you'll see more and more and more come out of the woodwork. They have truly been the most rewarding shrimp species I have ever kept and are my absolute favorite. And I know I say that about a lot of species, but I really mean it about these guys. Just absolutely incredible.